Hey guys! So I'm here today. I'm super excited to be sharing with you the pros and cons of working at Target. I'm going to tell you all the tea you need to know if you're applying, or let me know if you agree if you've worked at Target or still working at Target. I'd love to know and we can all chat about it. So let's get into it. Okay, also to preface, I do like working at Target, so it's not going to be like, oh, you know, bashing Target this entire video. So I do generally like working there, but obviously there are some things that you don't love about work. Like anyone, there's always pros and cons of literally any job. But just so you know, I am a little biased on liking Target more than I don't like it. So let's get into the pros, and this is truly why I'm still working here with a college degree. I'm about 1.5 years out of college, so I definitely obviously could have found a different job. I just haven't. So here's my pros. What I love about Target is it has flexible hours, which is really nice. So it's not always your typical 9 to 5. So if you have kind of a different schedule, you have to watch kids, something like that, it's nice because it is very flexible. And if you want to have it as another job, it's very flexible with that because they're usually open to 10 or 11, open on weekends, which is nice for a second job. And there's also some places at their warehouse locations where you can like work overnights and stuff. And I think there are some stores where they also do overnights. So love the flexible hours that they have. What's also nice for me personally is you don't always have to work 40 hours a week, which I love because just thinking about working 40 hours every single week makes me want to cry. Like obviously there's times where I do work 40 hours at Target because it's either holidays or there's just a lot to do and I get hours. Obviously I work 40 hours then, but it's not a consistent 40 hours, which I like because that's not good for my mental health. Like I just swear, if we had 4-day work weeks and we only had to work 30 hours a week every week, I would love that and would not complain at all. And it's nice because then you always have to work 8-hour shifts. Sometimes I have 4 or 5-hour shifts and I do really like that because then you don't feel like you're at work all day. What's nice about Target is generally it's a pretty easy AF job, which, you know, I love. It's not that I'm lazy, I just like to not get out of things, but I like making money easily, I guess, instead of having to work really hard days and making what I'm making now. So that is nice. It's easy. I feel like I go to work mindlessly doing my work and I don't take it home at all. What's nice about my store, at least, I've heard some different opinions, but I get all the days I request off. Like there's never been a question to it. I've requested a couple days off, 1 day, a week, 2 weeks, things like that, and I've gotten it off. I've also taken a leave of absence before for a couple months going studying abroad, and they accepted that. So I think that's super cool, and not all jobs usually be like, oh yeah, when you come back you got a job. So I think that's nice. I love my availability because I have Wednesdays and Saturdays off. So 1, I have a weekend off, which is super nice, and 2, I don't usually ever have to work more than 3 days in a row, which is kind of nice. So I do like that. I like having those little breaks in between, and then that just works for me the best, and I really like that. So I really like that because I love having a weekend day off and then a weekday off. I feel like it's different, honestly, because it's not as busy as a weekend day, and sometimes weekdays no one expects anything from you. Like usually on weekends there's like birthday parties or events that people want you to go to, and like on a weekday no one expects you to do those things, so you have like the full day truly to yourself, and it's a good day to grocery shop and stuff because not as many people are out. So it's a life hack, honestly. Another great thing about Target, it honestly, for I would say like 80% of the jobs that I applied to, I am making the same, if not more, than some of the other jobs I have applied to with my degree or what people consider a real job. And it's like, why would I not do an easy job and get paid more than I would at a normal job, working more hours, things like that. So we love that. What's also nice is we have time and a half days. So it's usually like the non-major holidays when we are open, we get paid time and a half if we're scheduled or work that day, which is super nice because you literally make double of what you would be making on a normal day. Non-big holiday days, I would consider that I'm not even mad about working, is Labor Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, things like that. So I think that's nice to have those days where you're like, ooh, I get extra money and I'm gonna have more pep in my step because I'm getting paid double. What's also really cool about Target is in the past 6 months or so, they have put more benefits for working 20 hours a week on average, and I think that's super cool because a lot of people sometimes like do the part-time because they're like working another job, or they're just like taking care of kids or doing stuff helping their parents, or you know, when they get old and stuff like that, or just literally any reason that they have to work 20 hours only in a week, and you can still get benefits with that. So that's super nice, and I think that's cool, and I hope a lot of jobs and retail places like that bring into effect those benefits for people who work not 40 hours. What's also super nice is Target kind of has that reputation that not as many crazy people go there. So I think that's super nice, and I feel like the workers there are super great, and I haven't met anyone super crazy or had any crazy experiences at Target. Like, I definitely have had some friends work at Walmart, and they're like, we literally had weird people coming up to us trying to like have us go to their car, and it's like, sir, I work here, I'm not just gonna go to your car even if I didn't work here. But it's like, that's super sketch and creepy. So I love like overall the chill environment. It's just a vibe. I love it. And people literally go to Target just to like relax, you know, do some TLC. And when you get to work there, it's kind of the same thing, kind of, but it's nice because it just is a good vibe there. So a good thing about, for me personally, is I work in beauty, so I can take my breaks literally whenever I want, which I love, because there is some positions at Target where you kind of are on scheduled breaks. So I love having the freedom to take my breaks whenever and kind of like go to the bathroom whenever too, because there are some places in the store where you like can't really do that as much. For example, up front, like you usually have to have someone watching the register or something, like you have to go on designated breaks, so everyone up front is going on their breaks on time, and not everyone is going to break at the same time. So basically any floor position you can go whenever you want, so just note that if you are applying to Target. Also, what's really nice is being on the floor, you can kind of walk around and see more of the store versus being a cashier where you're kind of stuck in that square up front. So I do really like that. I like the flexibility of walking around when I want and not seeing the same thing every single second of the day. And I feel like you don't talk to as many guests and stuff, which is nice. Like, you definitely talk to people and help them find what they need, stuff like that, but it's nice because I'm not talking to people constantly and saying, how's your day, did you find everything? And it just seems very repetitive, and it's just not my style. So highly recommend, if you do apply or work at Target, do not work as a cashier. But obviously, if that's the only way you can get in, do what's necessary. What's super nice about working at Target as well is you can see all the sales. You kind of catch on what usually goes on sale, so you never really have to buy anything full price. It's also nice because when you do see clearances, you can kind of watch them every day you come to work to see if they go down more, things like that. Or there's times where I found really good clearances where I just had to buy that second because it was just so good. Like, I literally found a Yeti mic that's like $130 for 40 bucks. Or it was 35, and I'm like, I literally can't pass this up, because it was like an online item at that time, so usually you mark them down a lot. So we love a good clearance item. So when you work there, you are there every day, so you do notice a lot more trends, and you are usually one of the first people to go check out the clearance items and stuff, because you kind of know when those dates are, which is nice. What truly matters in any workplace is management can make it or break it. So that is really a pro and a con. If you have bad managers at your store, then it can literally make you want to cry every day. At my store, everyone pretty much likes each other for the most part, which is good. And I feel like there's no like huge like, oh my god, there's this one manager that everyone hates. And everyone there, I feel like, is just really great and does their job well. Oh my god, what's nice, because I did work at a place where I did have this, is you have grocery right at the end of the store or wherever it is located at your Target. So like, you can really get anything you want for lunch, which is nice, because when I worked at a call center, I was like, okay, gotta plan my meals, you know, if I forgot something, gotta order something. And it's nice because you can kind of just go to work, buy it at work, and then not really have to prepare your meals, and that's super nice and handy. You also get a discount. Obviously it's 10% and then 20% on like healthy stuff. So if you buy fruits and vegetables, if you buy their all-in-motion activewear, you get 20% off, which is nice. So that's great. And honestly, 10% does make a difference sometimes, especially when you're buying big item things. And when you work at Target, like I mentioned, you can see more of the sales and stuff, so you can really use the app wisely and save a lot of money through that when you are working there, because I feel like you just notice it more. And obviously, the big kicker of why I truly love working at Target is I can make my TikToks. Obviously, because that's truly, like I've mentioned in some other videos, like what I want to do with my life. And I love social media. I love how posting my Target TikToks has really helped me grow. And I love being relatable to people. But like, you don't have to always work the 9-to-5 job. You don't have to always do the normal path in life. So I love that. So some of the pros that I had could be cons to you. So for example, you don't always get 40 hours. Sometimes you do, but most of the time you don't. So just note that obviously different stores are a little bit different. I know some of the bigger stores, a lot of people do get the 40 hours that they want. So note that. Obviously working retail, if you do not like retail and working it, I would highly recommend not to do that. And I feel like that'd be a very big con in your list that you would want to stay far away from. Sometimes like working with guests or the customers, sometimes it's stressful. Obviously in retail is just the name of the game, but if you don't take it personally, it's really easy to get over it and kind of laugh about it, honestly. Sometimes it's not consistent hours. Sometimes you like work in the afternoon, you work midday, in the mornings, things like that. So that could be a con for you. I personally like variety in my week instead of having the same day, you know, the same. But I mean, at some point I feel like I would like it. Just depends. But currently and in the past, I have liked how it's kind of been inconsistent, and I do really like that. It was nice when I went to school, things like that. So take that as it is. But however, with those like hours, like I said, how it's not always consistent, you can make an availability, and most of the time they do stand true to it. I mean, I probably have never had problems with it, but I have heard other people have had problems with HR and like the managers not following their availability. So yeah. And then also, like I mentioned earlier, bad management can truly make it or break it, truly in any job. So try to get an intel, I guess, of someone who works at Target maybe, and be like, is this a good store? Do you like the people? Because that truly would tell you if it's a good store to work at. I would honestly, like, if you don't know anyone who works at that specific Target you might be applying to or have applied to, just go in there and be like, hey, like, I just had a question, super random. I applied here, and how do you like the managers? And talk to an actual employee and truly get the scoop, because I feel like an employee is truly going to tell you the tea. I mean, I would, and make sure it's not an actual leader, because they probably wouldn't. And I feel like you can kind of tell, like, if they look more, you know, focused, ready to go, then they probably are a leader and wouldn't tell you truly how it is. So try to find someone who looks low-key and is a normal employee. Another con would be you kind of have to be all over the place. Recently, we've really had to be pushing hard and jumping into OPU and ship to store, which does get annoying because you're like working on your own stuff and you're like, okay, now I gotta jump into this other thing that's gonna take time for me finishing my own stuff. So that sometimes is stressful. Sometimes you do have to back up cashier, that's just the name of the game. But most recently, a lot of people do have to jump into OPU/ship from store, so that does get annoying. But it's really not that crazy, and if you don't really let it get to you, it's really not that big a deal. And honestly, in most jobs, I feel like sometimes you are playing more roles at once, so I feel like that could be normal. But overall, if you don't let it get to you, I think it'll be okay. And if you have good management, then they won't really force you to do it every single time, which is nice. Another drawback would be working holidays. However, Target is closed on a couple major holidays such as Thanksgiving, Easter, and Christmas. So for sure, you won't ever have to work those days, which is very nice because I feel like those are the really big ones. And other ones, like I said, I don't really care to work, but for those, you would be getting time and a half. So it does make it stressful because usually those days are the busiest. So just note that that can be a drawback for you. But personally for me, I don't really care at this moment because I like making time and a half on those days. And then on the big holidays, I can still spend time with family and friends and stuff, which is nice because we have those days off no matter what. So guys, I hope you liked my run through of all the pros and cons of Target. Let me know what you guys think are some pros and cons of your job, or if you have worked at Target, I'd love to know your experience. I hope you guys like watching, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye guys!